Costume Commentary. I'm Kate.
And I'm Brit, and on this episode, we're going to be doing our first tutorial. We're going to be teaching you how to make your very own duct tape dress form.
These dress forms are great for trying on cosplay looks, so that way you can see how it looks on your body without actually having to break your neck to look at your back in the mirror.
The cons, if you're a pattern maker who works with drafting or draping or anything like that, these dress forms aren't exact, they're not perfect, they can get a little bit misshapen in the process. So draping on them and doing exact patterns based off of these dress forms isn't as useful, but if you just want something to look at what something that you bought is going to look like on you without having to awkwardly stretch around, these are perfect for that, and doing embellishments, things like that.
Let's get right to it, and here's what you're going to need.
For this tutorial, we used 2 bags of polyfill, 1 large roll of duct tape, a Sharpie, a pair of scissors, and a shirt you don't mind never seeing again. The first step is to establish the spine and the center front with several strips of duct tape to make sure it's sturdy. Now start at the smallest part of the body, which is the natural waist, and work your way down towards the hips. This is going to make the main body of the dress form. Make sure not to make the duct tape too tight because you still want your friend to be able to breathe. Next up, it's time to fill in the upper body. We used a few strips to establish the neckline first. Now we're going from the center front to the center back with 1 strip of duct tape each side and going around the widest part of the bust. This is one part that you're definitely going to want to make sure that you have a good friend making this with you. Now fill in the rest of the upper body in the front, making sure not to make anything too squished. Not only because you want your friend to be able to breathe, but also because you want the dress form to stay accurate. Now work your way towards the back, filling in any leftover space that you haven't already filled. Next up, we're going to be making a sleeve shape, but a cap sleeve shape. You're not going to follow all the way down. This is just to ensure that it's a bit easier to tell where the armhole is later on when you're drawing it on the dress form. Last but not least, just to make everything a little bit more sturdy, add a couple strips of duct tape in anywhere where the body naturally has stress points, like its smallest parts, including the natural waist, and its widest parts, like across the shoulder blades. Now it's time to cut your friend free of their prison. 1 large cut going all the way down the center back, and 1 from center back all the way down the sleeve. Now you're going to measure the hips of the dress form and cut an oval that matches that width. Make sure to measure it because you don't want the bottom of your dress form to be wonky because your circle is too big or too small. Do the same thing for the armhole and the neck. And make sure to take turns cutting if you and your friend both have weak baby hands. Make sure to find the cutest, smartest cat you know to inspect your work. Now it's time to close up all those cuts you made to free your friend with strips of duct tape on the inside and the outside of the seams. Now use the cardboard cutout that you just made to fill in the hole at the bottom of the dress form. You cannot use too many strips of duct tape here. You're going to be packing this as full of polyfill as you can, so you want to make sure that this is completely tight. Now time for the fun part. We ended up using 2 bags of polyfill. You want this to be as packed as possible because you want it to resemble a human body as much as it can. Now take the circle you cut out earlier for the neck and fill in the top. You'll notice that when you were packing it full of polyfill, a few gaps opened up in the duct tape. So the very last step with the tape is to go in and fill those holes. Now for the very last step, you're going to be marking all of your reference points. The first is the bust line all the way around. Then you're going to go down center back, center front, around the neckline, around both armholes, and around the natural waist. This is the smallest part of the body.
So thank you for watching our dress form tutorial. We hope that you like it and you get a lot of use out of your new tool.
If you like this video, please make sure to subscribe and leave us a comment and like the video.
So this Friday we're going to be doing our review of CW's Rain. So make sure to subscribe if you want to be notified about that as soon as it comes out.
Thanks for watching! One thing I can say is that the costumes do fit the characters. Specifically with Mary's Ladies in Waiting, each of the girls have a very specific style that fits their personalities, and not just on